The day I turned 20 was the most depressed and lost I've ever felt in my life. Felt like time was running away from me. I wasn't a teenager anymore, and I didn't accomplish anything that I thought I would have. And looking back, I think this is a byproduct of society expecting so much of young men nowadays. It really boils down to social media and giving us unrealistic expectations for ourselves. So this video isn't some fucking cope. It's gonna give you the three key mindsets that shifted the man I was to start living as the man I wanted to become. I'm going to explain my experience and how I implemented these mindset changes into my life and the realizations that helped me actually put them into action, because information has never been so easily available, but what we lack nowadays in our society is the actual action. I always wanted to be exceptional, but the weight of having to do multiple things, getting your body right, your mind right, your goals right, there's so many steps in this process, but I think the first important thing is define what exceptional means. If you were to Google the word exceptional, Google says unusual or not typical. If you're watching this video, you probably understand it all starts with your mindset. So if you want to be not typical, you have to reverse engineer what the typical man's brain is like nowadays. We have a very zoomer mindset, short attention span, and we can't really focus on long-term goals. So foundationally, you have to understand this isn't going to happen quick. Nothing comes fast in life except a virgin. The first mindset shift that I had was on the day I turned 20, and I realized it's all mental. Your mind will often give up much before your body, and that's because comfortability is so familiar to us, right? You know something is safe, so your brain knows it's okay to keep doing it. And the brain wants to self-preserve the body that is attached to. So what I did when I realized this is I meditated and I ran slash walked my treadmill for 3 hours straight with my eyes closed. And every time I thought I hit a physical wall, I just told myself, keep going, because quitting wasn't an option. And this would become the groundwork for my life, because I started to realize you can push past barriers. And when you break through the walls, that leads to the places that you want to go. Now, the second mindset I learned soon after allowed me to push myself past these barriers, and it was very simple but powerful. No one is coming to save you. Often we do things for the wrong reasons. It could be money, clout, impressing others, getting that girl you want. But if you're living for others, you're never truly going to be happy with yourself, because you haven't really surveyed what you want or who you want to be. So then your mind can't comprehend why you're doing it. And for your mind to push past the barriers of the physical pain, you need to know why you're doing it and what the end goal is. Then your body can set out to do what your mind wants to achieve. When you do something because you prove to yourself that you can do it, and not because you're trying to do it for the money, the clout, the girl, whatever we were talking about earlier, all you have to do is show up every day, because you're no longer in the rat race with everyone else. You're just kind of accepting that you're the only person you need to impress. And when you realize in this life you're born alone and you will die alone, you're not going to care what anyone else thinks about you. So if you don't decide the time is now to become yourself and become who you want to be, when will you start? Now, the thing I think holds most of us back, at least in my case, is we didn't trust ourselves enough to make that leap, to change our ways, to change our mindset, to change our body. Because, for example, I told myself I would have abs since I was 8. I didn't achieve that goal until just this year when I was 22. So, like, that's 14 years of your mind telling your body, no, I'm not serious, fuck this, we're not going to actually stick to this. You know you aren't going to do it deep down, so that's why you never even try, and you get stuck in this paralysis of knowing what you have to do, but not actually doing it. And once you realize that you were in control the whole time, the only thing you can do now is take action. Otherwise, from now on and in the past, words will continue to be pointless. Like, okay, dumbass, like, I understand, but how is this time going to be different? I'm going to fucking tell you how, because you've never actually decided to make the change. Your mind strays away from your goals because you have proved time and time again you will not stick to the goal, because goals take time. And what I learned is the result you desire is behind the work you are avoiding. For me, I was drinking, smoking, self-medicating, making myself feel okay, feel comfortable, because it was safe to turn off my thoughts, turn off my brain, turn off the will to do actions, because I could just stay and survive but never thrive. For me, my body was the number one manifestation of this. It showed years of degeneracy and not caring and not having long-term goals, just living in the short term, temporary dopamine hits, running my life and choosing my decisions for me. It was like I was on autopilot just to get this shitty hit of dopamine. This second mindset of understanding no one is coming to save you is kind of a reference point where you have to vow to yourself, this is my time to change. You must do the work yourself now, which leads into the third frame of mind I just learned recently. It's been almost exactly 3 years since I decided to change my life with the first and second mindset, and I just learned this one. And since then, I've lost 45 pounds, acquired my dream job, and I want to tell you this mindset shift is the journey is the destination. To truly be exceptional, you must strive to always be better. The person of exception is the one who gets up countless times in a world where people give up after failing just a few. In my case, I'd been posting online for 10 years and I never made a dollar. Within 3 months of making my first dollar, it turned into my full-time job. So when you work hard enough towards making your dreams come true, eventually the energy is going to come to an apex to where it has to manifest and give you your desired reality. The thing is, you have to be relentlessly, tirelessly working towards your goal, whether it's improving mentally or physically. You have to keep moving forward no matter what. And that's why you need to understand that it's all mental. You're never out of the game until you're out of the game. You could fail 1, 2, 10, 100, 1,000 times. And that's so much better than giving up because instead of giving up, you're moving forward, you're learning, you're becoming better, you're still accepting the journey as the destination. As long as you're learning, you're moving forward. But if you give up, you're not going to get to that place you want to be. And that's why these mindset shifts are so important to becoming the man you want to become. So let's put it all together real quick. Step one, realizing it's all mental. You're going to understand that only you can determine the mindset you need to have to get to where you want to go. And that's up to you to decide. Now that you understand who you are, who you want to be, and where you want to go, you're going to understand that no one's coming to save you. You are the man that needs to do the work to get to where you want to go, okay? So the journey is the destination. You're exactly where you need to be. You are making the progress already. That's more than most people ever attempt. And here's the most important part about realizing the journey is a destination. When I reached my goals, sure, I felt bliss for an hour, but you start to think and you start to feel like, okay, what's next? Like, I've made this my reality now, and this is good because you want to be ambitious, and it's also bad because it's dangerous because you're always in the pursuit of meaningless numbers, whether it's weight, money, followers, or maybe it's just getting that girl you've wanted for so long. But you need to focus on how you feel. And in my case, I felt the most fulfillment when I was close to achieving a goal, something I had set, something I had worked towards over and over as a part of the journey. This taught me the key to being exceptional is by always growing. You're either growing or you're dying. Aristotle said what isn't moving is dead. So if you're not growing and expanding who you are, you're just fading away faster. The thing is that growing for most people stops when they're comfortable. So to be exceptional, you have to accept you cannot be comfortable anymore. You must not fall into complacency. You have to understand that this is a daily thing you must work on. Work works on you more than you work on it. So every day that you put in the work, it's going to compound into pushing you to become the person you want to be. So to show up every day, you're just going to have to decide. It's all mental. And you got to do what needs to be done on the daily. Once you can accept that, you just have to remind yourself that this is your journey and no one is coming to save you. That's step 1 and 2. And once you've started the journey, be content that this is where you need to be and continue as the journey is the destination of what you wish to achieve. Overall, I would say change your mind, change your life, get your body right, and believe in yourself. Because if you don't believe in yourself to make these changes, all these mindsets aren't going to help you. They're just going to make you feel like, again, you know what to do, but it's the same problem you've always had, that you knew what to do, but you didn't do what had to be done. So believe in yourself, make the change, and let's get it. It sounded so corny, but come on, man.